Welcome back to my garage. Tonight we finish up the cases and we prepare the cylinders for sending them off to plating by Emot Racing. My son is playing basketball on the wall here, so that's the noise. I'm just trying to find the best match. Everything matches but the casting, so the best matches for the castings. The unmachined surfaces, this is a good match, better than that one. And this might be the best one. Let's see. Yeah. 1. This is number 3. I think actually number 3 will be because this is the most perfectly matched casting. So number 3 will be, we're going backwards. Number 3 will be our number 1 engine. And now drill and tap holes and a bunch of cleanup, and the cases are done. It's important now that I don't accidentally drill through the dowel pin holes. So now it's just drill, 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 drill forever. And then tap, 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 tap forever. And we're done. I'll bring you back when this is done. This is super boring to watch. Sorry about the noise. Alcohol eats my my tabletop lacquer. Just gonna tape something to the table. It's making an annoying noise. One of the doors. So it's hitting. Temporary thing. Switching arms to not get a asymmetrical physique. Nah, just this one's tired from tapping the other case. Just taking off the raised material around the threads. Now to see if they need any massaging to make the cylinders fit, and grind the clearance. Well, this one has that ground in already. This is one I've already done. So I've ground clearance, made sure the cylinder would fit, and I've also lapped the deck here. Yeah, it's a little tight. The reason for it being a little tight is because there's a slight mismatch between the two faces. Remember, it was done with a contour, like a scallop pass in the mill, so it's not bored super accurate. house. Now it fits. This is my surface plate. I did measure it a while back and it seems to be within a few microns, if I remember correctly. I remember being surprised about how flat it was. But I can't push hard on it because then of course it'll deflect. So if you're careful, if I'm careful, this works fine. And it's just a surface, it's just a gasket surface. I want to get a proper surface plate, actually two, one for measurements, one for lapping. 240 grit, which is fine enough, but a little rough. So the beginning here, it'll give us, it might give us some trouble moving the cylinder around on top of it without it grabbing. I'm just moving it across the paper in a figure eight fashion. I'm not sure if that's really necessary. Maybe round and round would be good enough. But I'm not applying any pressure. It's moving under its own, it's only the weight of the actual piece. Then I'm rotating just to try to not have my hand, like even out the unevenness from my hand holding it and moving it. I can see it's touching here and pretty much over the whole surface here, almost. So this is low. So now, in the correct light, I can barely see that there's been something going on here, but that's good enough. It's to the point where if I take this sponge and I do this to clean the surface, and you can't really see it anymore. So 3 cases nicely matched and surface lapped, the gasket surface, and the cylinders fit and all that. So more tapping. After that, we gotta check the cylinders, check the exhaust port height for the 3 other cylinders. The first one I did, that checks out to what I planned it to be. The other ones can be shifted a little bit, and we need to know that before we make heads or get someone to make heads. I think actually there's a company in China that might make them for me, and that'll take some load off the mill, which I think my main, the 16mm big end mill, I think it's getting real dull. I think I dulled it by running the mill so loose, because the surface finish is still not what it used to be. And I don't think I'm gonna check on the gibs again. Might be I didn't tighten them enough, but I think it's the mill now. But anyways, that's a tangent. What we're gonna do is tap the holes and then clean up everything in the cases and check the exhaust port height of the cylinders. We need to do that before we can ship them off for plating. We don't have to completely clean them up before we send them off for plating. Just, well, nothing really. We just have to check that exhaust port height so I can have so I can make heads that'll accommodate the differences, if there's differences. I think there is. More tapping. And yes, we can use it's designed to use the heads from the Emot 50, the mini bike engine sitting, or mini bike cylinder sitting in the land speed bike. So they'll be interchangeable, but I'm gonna make new ones because more spares and yeah, just we need spares. All 3 done. I'm gonna give them a quick lap and then on to measuring cylinders. I'm cutting a little ring that I can use in the bore, and I'll set that to 18.64 millimeters long, which is the exhaust port height I want without the bevel. So we've got our measurement ring. I'm gonna quickly clean up the inside here, just take out any casting imperfections. Like the roughness from the casting. Ideally we'll see spot on. Second to ideally is a little bit too much, because then we can skim the surface. Third to ideally is we see too little, and that means we'll have to use a different, like a head with a higher squish band. This cylinder is best case scenario. It's pretty much spot on. And what do you know? That's actually pretty much perfect too. And another one. That's probably the highest of them, but it's not by much at all. Okay, so we don't need different heads. We can use the same head for all of them. Perfect. A proper angle plate for the mill is definitely on the shopping list, but and freehanding, I just don't want to freehand it. But I think I can use the like pieces of the old engine cradle as a makeshift angle plate. Well, definitely there's lots of material here. So that's probably a fairly straight angle. Tightened up a little bit, and now zero. And now it's reading 0. That's very close to 0.0. That. Oh, yes. Now the moment of truth. Will this fit? It's going in. Ah, perfect. This ring sets exhaust port height to 198 degrees of duration, and having the bevel end at 204 degrees duration means roughly a millimeter. So I'm gonna use this ring and then these 1 millimeter spacers. This one's a split spacer, and set the cylinder on top like this. And then I can mark where I need to sand to. And this will also kind of equalize the differences between the cylinders, because there's a slight difference, you know, from how I've zeroed on the exhaust port and how that was a rough cast surface and hard to get correct, or hard to use that as a zero. It's hard to use a rough cast surface as a zero. So now they're all nicely beveled, and now I'm gonna give the exhaust duct a slight cleanup, like I've done with this. Just get rid of most of the rough surface. It's mostly just the inner part here, just so I won't have to grind so much into the plating when cleaning up everything. Three heads, 3 rotary valve covers and rotary valve assemblies, 3 cranks, 3 ignition triggers, 2 ignition systems is probably enough. Did I mention there's more cases and cylinders on its way? Wonder what I'm gonna do with those. That's it for this video. Send these off for plating and do some cleanup of the cases. That's it now. And then start gathering parts and start gathering sponsors and get over to the United States. Get over to Travis's place and test the engine in the frame and on his dyno. See you next time.